Good morning. Well, life is full of surprises.
I was mostly doing good, but last week has been soul-crushing, for no good reason. Maybe the Scorpio moon. Maybe a burnout. I just got adjusted. My whole back was a solid block of pain. How are you? Oh, I'm glad to hear it's getting better, though. Is it anything in particular, or just a general roughness of days? Well, that's a whole lot to deal with. Oh wow, that's a lot to deal with. It's a lot of moving ground. Yeah. I'm not sure I can pinpoint exactly. I've been running myself thin for a while, but I had the adrenaline and the energy. But after a while, my body couldn't take it anymore. I could feel pains accumulating. I tried to push through. And I came to my parents' place. I had lots to do, but somehow the days ran by, and I felt overloaded by all that I'm failing at, feeling glued to the place, but also somehow absorbing everyone else's misery around me, being everyone's listener, taking in a lot of unhappiness from my friend, from her friend group, my family. I ended up so tired and yet so late on everything that I started tearing up. And from then on, it was just opening up the whole well of old hurt. It's not the same kind of tears, but I also prefer feeling them to swallowing them up. It feels... It's not the same kind of tears, but I also prefer them to swallowing them up, which feels like a lie and disrespectful to myself. I think I'm slightly emerging from it, though. I had some time in the garden yesterday. I went to the chiropractor. I had a long bath, and I sung very loudly in it. But I'm also still super tender.
What are you doing in the shower? What are you doing in the shower?
You know? And I was like, but these people who are vocally saying we are in distress, we don't know what to do with ourselves, couldn't see the fact that they orient. It's like the John Moriarty thing about the man searching for the key. Okay, final story.
So John Moriarty tells this story of a man who's scrambling around in the dirt outside his house, and the local friendly policeman rocks up and says, "Are you all right there? Can I help you?" Have you lost something? And the man said, yes, I've lost my key. I've lost it. I'm trying to find it. And the policeman gets down on his hands and knees and joins the man in roaming around in the dirt looking for this lost key. Several moments pass and the policeman asks, are you sure you've lost it here? And the man says, no, I lost it over there in that dark corner. And the policeman says, why the hell are you looking here? And the man says, because this is where the light is.
And so John Moriarty talks about this, that we're looking where we think we're looking where we can, but actually the key or the answer may be somewhere totally different. It's just that we can only look where we can see. So,
but the key is in the darkness.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's some strange thing happening there. It doesn't seem like the shape fits with the curtain. It's something there behind you, isn't it? It's like this kind of hunched figure looking, but I don't know if I'm not quite seeing what you're seeing. Whether or not there's a ghost actually is totally irrelevant, because it's the stimulation of the mind, of that unknown, of that place of creativity that actually allows you to kind of step out of the norm. It's the evocative nature of that place, and that sort of feeling of serendipity and accident that lends to this kind of creative experience, which I think is so interesting. I really am coming to this point of really believing that we have sacred impurity, that's part of who we are. Sometimes that translates into crazy things, like doing crazy things with ourselves, with the environment, with our brain, with inventing crazy things, and then part of that is also claiming space for the shadow, for the fact that we are natural things, for the fact that we are mysterious things, for the fact that we are flesh and blood, and that we are susceptible to illness, and that we are susceptible to vulnerability, that we are susceptible to imperfection, and that's actually why I love humans, and that's why I'm fascinated and have this great awe for humankind. And I feel like that's part of the nuance of what the ultimate closing of the door that these words like is. It's like a closing of the door of nuance, a closing of the door of deeper understanding of the complexities of humanity.
Pathological symptoms of young motility is nighttime epilepsy, eye disease, chill, fever, painful obstruction of the skin, hypogastric pain, internal urgency, pain at the genitals, contracted sinews, Shan disorder, uterine bleeding.
Body. The feet circling, the feet walking in specific trajectories, the feet looking out of the window, the back curling, the back turning inwards, the back hiding the head, the hands clapping, the hands and arms embracing the crying body, the hands widespread, the head cutting, the head climbing its peaks, the head is dead.
I mean, sometimes we want things in a certain way and we miss some opportunities. When I found out I was going to have twins, I knew that it was a real chance to have them through C-section, which I didn't want, and I want to breastfeed really hard. And I was like, no, my God, twins, so C-section, no breastfeeding. But then, of course, I had to have a C-section because of the kind of twins they are. But it was for their own sake. I missed that part. Like, I want to have another child for this reason. But maybe it's been so good, so nice as a pregnancy and birth that maybe I don't know what a new one could be. Maybe really bad pregnancy, really bad birth. You know what you had. You don't know what it can happen. And I was so stubborn with breastfeeding. I breastfed them. I'm still breastfeeding them. But I know, like, I'm gonna miss something because they are two. I can't be with them all the time. Or if I'm with them, there's always one who is neglected.
You guys like it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you want child? You want child?
Huh?
You want child in family?
3.
And girls?
Yeah, I'm the youngest. Do you know this feeling of somebody operating in such an entirely different way to you that it's like this, you don't know what to do with yourself in their context. And because their context is so ferocious, or so determined or so strong, that it's like I'm like water, I'm like whoosh, and it's like pulling up loads of feelings about articulating quiet value systems and how to do that in the face of money, success. And it's like I just feel like so washed away in the face of that. Like, I lose any sense of my own authority, like in the face of this this high octane competitiveness, and this sense of like animal competitiveness, that I just do not connect with at all. I feel like I actually recoil from it. It's like this sporting mentality, It throws up this question from the depths about, like, am I just unwilling, like, as an artist, am I kind of just unwilling to step further out? Am I somehow protecting myself? Am I living in a bubble? Am I unable to survive if I'm really in the world? Am I somehow validating the outsiderness as a way to remain in a bubble, in an enclosure where I'm not called to fight for my value system? How do I even articulate my value system in the face of that other, louder, stronger, more determined, more ferocious value system that actually is the norm? Are you really like this? Are you really being honest? Well, like, where's the grit, What you really think? Wow, she's like a superstar.
She's gonna do it. Woo!
I just watched this movie Parasite, the Korean movie Parasite. Well, who is parasitic off who? The poor people are, poor people or small fry people are like the obvious kind of parasite, but actually it's the rich that are the parasite. And it's the rich and the wealthy and the already wealthy that are parasitic off independent artists and off everybody posting online. It becomes a problem when people forget what they've taken from other people or what they've learned from other people. And that's why I use this term authorial genealogies. It's when we consciously remember where we've learned things, who we've learned from.
It might have been this fucking 2-second conversation or passing thought you had 10 years ago when you were off your tits on fucking drinking drugs or whatever it may be. And next thing, for whatever reason, your brain decides to spit that back at you, and it's in your head because it just came out of your brain, but you can't exactly remember the origin.
Yes, gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.